Welcome to a video presentation of Chapter 3, Section 4 in McDougal Littell's 8th grade textbook entitled Writing Two-Step Equations. On the left side of the chalkboard today, you'll find the list of keywords that trigger certain operations. Now, you've actually copied this list once before in Chapter 1, Section 3. If you can find your notes from Chapter 1, Section 3, you don't actually need to copy that list down again. It's actually the same. Okay? There's a couple words I took out. I took out the obvious words. For instance, underneath the addition sign, I took out the word addition. That seems fairly obvious. The only thing you would need to copy down would be the stuff under other, which I do not believe I gave you last time, but I may have. All right. So, list of keywords and their operations that are on the left side of the board are as follows. Underneath addition, we find plus, sum, S-U-M, not S-O-M-E. Increased by, more, total. Again, plus, sum, increased by, more than, total. All right, underneath the subtraction signs, you'll find difference, decreased by, fewer, or less. Underneath multiplication, you'll find product and of, and obviously I took out both multiply by and times. Those seem fairly obvious to me. Maybe I should put times still. Well, again, underneath multiplication, you'll find product and of, and underneath division, quotient and per, P-E-A. Underneath other, you'll find a number. A number is where you're going to drop in the variable, whatever variable you choose to work with. And where you see is going to become an equal sign. Now, as you can see, we have 4 examples today, and there's little variation. Okay, meaning all the problems are pretty much the same basic thing. Okay, and that's true on the homework tonight too. There's very little variation from this. A little bit, but not much. What you're going to do in all these problems is you're going to write and solve the equation. Now, earlier this year, when we did Chapter 1, Section 3, the first time I gave you the list, we wrote and solved expressions. No, we didn't solve them. We just wrote expressions. Okay? Those were things that didn't have an equal sign, obviously no number after it. Now we're going to take a step further, have the equal sign, and actually go ahead and solve it, since we've solved two-step equations now. As you can see in all those problems, the major operations are in capital letters for you, which should make it pretty easy to identify what operations you actually go with. And throughout, the approach is going to be, we're going to go through, find what operations the keywords trigger, the things in caps. Then we'll go through and add the numbers to it and the equal sign. Then we'll have our equation, and we'll go ahead and start solving. Okay, so with all that said, let's go ahead and take a look at example 1. The sum, S-U-M, of 4 times a number and negative 6 is 14. The sum, S-U-M, of 4 times a number and negative 6 is 14. Question?
Can I
Sorry?
sharpen my pencil?
Yes. All right. So the first thing we have there is sum. Sum, as you can see from our list, is under the addition list. So this is going to have to be a giant addition problem. The next part of the problem says 4 times a number. Times is obviously a multiplication problem. A number, as you can see from the other list, is where we're going to drop in our variable. So if I'm saying 4 times a number, I'm really saying 4 times whatever variable I pick. I'm going to pick h here. 4 times h. The next part of this says and -6. Now obviously I haven't put anything after the addition sign yet, so that's where that -6 is going to go. And then is 14, you'll find is underneath the other list again. Is where you're going to drop an equal sign in. So is 14 means equals 14. So that's the writing the equation part. Now we actually have to solve the equation. Remember, to solve the equation, the general rule was to get the variable term first, which we have. Get the number part to the right side of the equal sign, which we partially have, and then go ahead and solve using the rules in one step. So, first thing I have to do is what in this problem now? Sorry? Right, I have to add 6 to both sides to start. That's good. Okay, now, some of you are saying, well, wait a minute. Why am I adding here? That doesn't make sense. There's an addition sign here. The opposite of addition is subtraction. Okay? You are correct in that sense. However, in this problem, right, the opposite of adding being subtracting, we're subtracting -6. If I subtract a negative, subtracting a negative changes into just plain old addition, or adding a positive, which is why I'm adding 6 to solve this problem. Okay? It seems rather contrary because usually we do the opposite of adding and subtracting. But in this problem, because of the negative, yes, you do actually have to add. All right, so I go ahead and add here. And that'll give me 4h equals 20. So now we're down to a very basic one-step equation, a multiplication equation. How would I solve that?
Divide each side by 4.
Divide each side by 4, good.